No, always fuck that. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Two Dudes Drinking Beer. My name is Josh.
My name is Alec.
It's August the 23rd. It's back to school. Hello, welcome back to I'm doing your job again. You said you were going to do it from here on.
So hang on, let me just double check that for you.
We don't need
see
to
if the
double
audio
check.
sounds good.
We don't need it. We got it.
No, hang on. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Wow, where'd it go? You did my job better than me.
I know.
Maybe you should just do it for the rest of time.
No. Today's 2DDBFFOTD, the fun fact of the day, the bean out of the butthole.
The butthole.
Is that in 2019, scientists found bones in New Zealand of a human-sized penguin. It's an estimated to have lived over 60 million years ago.
Damn, I think I've heard that one before, actually.
Shit, I haven't, so it's new to me.
Damn, that's cool. Could you imagine hugging a penguin and it's like, you think it's a guy in a penguin suit, but it's just a fucking real penguin?
Their legs are pretty long.
I bet you could curl up into a ball, and you know how penguins keep their eggs on their feet?
Yeah.
And they put their belly over you?
Yeah.
I'm sure you could sleep on a penguin's feet if it was a human-sized penguin.
Sleep on a penguin fupa?
Feel nice and comfy all night in the Arctic.
So yeah, it's Monday. We're drinking a beer called Tomfoolery.
We're doing another one from Five Threads.
Correct.
Well, what made you want to choose this one? Josh chose this one today.
It's based on the name Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery. I think the can is good. I hope it's very fruity. It's a hazy IPA.
Getting into some shenanigans.
Yeah.
They fooled around with the recipe for over a year.
Ha. They said they catered it to all the regulars that come by their place, I think. Right? That's what the little synopsis on the back says. It's like, we got a lot of fucking chads who like our beer and won't leave, so we made them the perfect brew. Anyway, I like the art style. The can, it's got a little paper edging, which is okay. It's still a really nice looking can. Is this not carbonated? There was no psh.
What?
I just fucking sniffed my mic. I was like,
Smells good.
It's got a nice scent to it.
Yeah, it smells like a good IPA.
It smells very fruity. Here you go. Cheers.
Pretty standard.
Really dry.
Not bad, not good, middle
Not
of
bad.
the road.
Yeah, not bad, not great.
6.5 out of 10.
I'd say just less than good. Not bad though. Just less than good.
6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. 6.5 is really solid.
Just there.
Just very not amazing.
Yeah.
Just very okay.
Just there.
Which is fine because it's got a 4-pack. So, but these are the 16s, right? These are the pints.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 7.2 alcohol ABV, 32 IBUs. So yeah, so it's not bitter at all.
Nope.
But
Not based on that stat.
not based on the taste test either. Little earthy, kind of dry. I wanted to talk about our trip to Cronies when I got super drunk and started talking to that guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Jason,
that? Jason. Yeah. I ended up putting my foot in my mouth because I was from the podcast talking about how Ronald Reagan fucked up the economy.
Yeah.
And then this guy got all defensive about how'd he fuck up the economy? And I was like, I don't know.
The history major, so
They
usually hear something that someone says and it's like, oh, I studied that. Let's go into it.
yeah.
Let's have a discussion.
So I felt like a jackass because the entire time he got super into this debate. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, I found someone in Brazil on a podcast who told me that Reagan's a douche. And I looked up some facts. Turns out he was kind of a douche. I just didn't remember anything. But this guy was like, no, Ronald Reagan's the shit, man. He's the tits.
You were like, he's racist. And then...
Wasn't he, though?
And then Jason was like, prove it.
Yeah.
What policies were racist? Like, okay, dude, like, calm down.
So...
Off the top of my head, I can't give you anything.
Do you want him on the show? Or... Because I'd only want him to talk to Ghost Hand.
I mean, if he watched it, maybe.
If
That's just strangers coming in my house.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. We'll ignore that then. But I just wanted to bring that up because it's like I feel like I still can't go anywhere. Like I have this problem all the time where I'd go out and then some weird shit like that would happen and someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, overheard you saying this thing. Let's talk about it." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, but like at the end of the day, I just want to be left alone at Cronies, and you came alone." So I know you just want to have someone to talk to, but I came with people who I could talk to.
And he was there for probably a while.
And he was there for a while before we were there. And we were there for like an extra 30 minutes talking because of this guy. So
you do not shut up whenever you start talking. So
That's true.
I can't fault you for that.
I feel rude. I feel rude being like, okay, or I don't know how to end that conversation. I'm more ready to be like, oh, that's interesting, and then let this guy keep talking, and then he'll say something. I'm like, oh, well, now I have to say something. How should I have ended that conversation? How should that conversation have gone?
Here's the best way to end a conversation, right? Okay, so
cool, bro. Cool story, bro.
no, that's the shittiest way to end. This is like the best. No one's gonna get offended anyway. Best single hands down best way to end a conversation.
I'm getting back to my burger. Have a good night.
No. So there's I'm gonna give you two options, right?
This is the best one of two.
Yes, these are the two best options.
It's a tie. There's two really good ways to end a conversation.
Yes,
Politely.
they're very effective.
With strangers.
One might not be as polite as the
who've
other.
been drinking alone in a bar.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying about the not shutting up thing.
Yeah. Let me get to my fucking list.
Go ahead.
So one, our good friend Raul is quite fond of this method. You just fucking leave.
I had a burger.
Just fucking leave. You had a pulled pork sandwich, first of all.
A pulled pork sandwich burger.
It's not a burger.
Is it a burger based on the buns or the
The contents, the
Fuck.
protein,
Okay, I guess.
specifically in the shape of a patty.
But burgers are still considered sandwiches.
Yes, they are. So are hot dogs.
So everything's a sandwich.
Technically, tacos.
Holy shit. Okay, go ahead.
So you just fucking leave.
I just pick up my fucking pulled pork sandwich and fucking...
No, you just leave it there. You just walk out.
I didn't want to do that.
Okay, that's why.
That doesn't seem like a good...
That's the not so polite. It's effective. It's the not so polite one.
Could you imagine if I did that and he chases me? He's like, hey, I wanted to have a nice conversation with you.
Then that's a problem.
It's a weird day.
The second thing, I like to do this a lot. So we'll be saying something, and then someone will say like a random, stupid, not fucking. I do this all the time at work when people are talking to me. They just say something completely out of left field, unrelated to anything, and we'll all reciprocate like a couple sentences, and then they'll be like, they'll say like a fucking fact.
You are nailing this.
They'll say like a fact about like what's going on outside or like what's going on in the store, and be like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I don't give him any more eye contact. I just, yeah.
That's where I fuck up, bro.
And just,
I go, yeah, man, you're right. And then he goes, I am right.
just say,
And you said Reagan sucks, but
yeah.
it's just weird. Because in my mind, it's like, the only thing I was like thinking, I was like, I just want to eat food and talk to my friends. And I can't do that now because I'm fucking sucked into this fucking wormhole of a situation.
Or you just keep giving like one word answers. It's like texting those kind of people, but in real life.
It was weird though. I know. It was weird. That's the thing is like, I don't know how to start conversations, but I also clearly don't know how to fucking end them. I'm in this weird halfway point of life where it's just like, I don't want to be rude, but also leave me the fuck alone. I'm eating a sandwich.
I mean, you can just be straight up. Be like, hey, man.
Just having a nice dinner with my family.
Can I just eat my sandwich, please?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Should I try that next time?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this happens a lot. This happens a lot. No, people
Yeah,
come up
it
to me at
does.
bars and they're like, hey, and then we just start talking.
Yes.
I don't know why I bring that energy, but It's a thing that happens. And if I'm just like, hey, man, Reagan's great. I'm just here for the pulled pork sandwiches.
I wouldn't even acknowledge Reagan. I would just be like, hey, man, I'm really just trying to eat my food here.
Yeah.
It's getting cold.
I'm just hanging out with my friends. It was cold by the time we were done.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just tell them how it is. Tell them how it be.
Damn.
Don't be afraid of hurting strangers' feelings.
Well, that's
Because what are they going to do? Stab you?
Yeah. All strangers are out to stab. You don't know that? Everyone's carrying a knife these days or a gun.
In a restaurant? They're going to walk up
In
to
a
you.
Cronies? For sure.
In Newbury Park, I don't think so. In Camarillo, probably.
Camarillo for sure. Everyone's packing heat. They're wearing a fucking fanny pack.
I was going to say, what the fuck did you just say?
I choked on my beer a little bit.
I know, I heard.
A fanny pack, and they'll just like wear it, and you're like, hey, nice fanny pack. And they're like, I got a gun in it. And you're like, okay, cool.
That was weird.
What?
Just fucking redid the chat.
Boop. Welcome to the chat room. Thank you. I feel honored.
You can't start conversations. You can't end. I can't start a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I do like...
Give me an example.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
That's how I start conversations.
That seems like a really good start to a conversation in most cases. If that guy was like, hey, how's it going? I'd be like, good.
And that's it. It doesn't go anywhere.
That's how it would have gone. I don't even remember how it started. I was like, he said something about baseball to me.
We were talking about a sport and like a specific scenario or rule or something. Mm-hmm. And he was like, actually.
Fun fact, bees have 5 eyes.
It's like when we were talking about which team has to wear white.
Yeah, the away team.
They don't have to.
They don't have to.
But it's like
But it's kind of common practice.
Yeah. And then someone at fucking the other end of the bar was like, actually, it's up to them to pick. Ha ha. And it's like, okay, dude.
Oh.
It's like, I wasn't fucking asking you.
Yeah. But I just remember that baseball game was going on, and he was like, oh, who, oh, huh, and then he got into our conversation somehow.
And then he said, I was in Moneyball.
That's what it was. And I was like, no way. And he goes, yeah, let's look up Jason. Let's find his LinkedIn. Let's just out this guy.
We don't know his last name. So
I got his fucking last name.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, well, I can't dox the guy.
Okay, so it's Momoa.
No.
Momoa.
You're fucking stupid.
No, it's that one, the contact one.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, I forgot what he did, though. He was like, not an accountant or... There he is. Is that him?
No.
Oh.
That's Brad Pitt.
No, he said he was in the background.
In the stands of the movie.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're
'cause he
dropping
was-
down the banner.
Yeah. Dropping the banner scene.
If I can find it.
Must have been an iconic scene. It's his claim to fame.
I'm not gonna scrub through this whole movie to try to find it.
Maybe next time, J-Dog.
Maybe.
I got another one about fucking age of consent again. I don't know why I keep going back to this.
You got something you want to talk about?
Not
man?
really.
This is the second time you brought it up. I mean, something might
I
be
think
on
it's
your
like
mind.
the third time.
What's your subconscious doing?
I don't know. Waking up in a cold sweat, apparently. Okay, so actually, I'll just read it how it was written, right? Consent in Japan, turns out it's 13.
Yeah.
And Nevada, we know, is 16.
Mm-hmm.
After looking at how vastly different everything compares to one another, do you think that the laws are more in place to imprison or penalize people for profit, or do you think that there is a scientific method or psychological reasoning between setting these laws, helping to steer the conclusion of why these laws are put in place? Did that make any sense?
Are we still looking at Japan in this scenario?
We're just looking at laws of like how they came to terms. Yes, actually, let's look at Japan. Do you think Japan was like, we did some psychological studies, turns out a person who is 13 years old is well enough conscious to understand and consent to sex?
I mean, it's more or less
Without any mental repercussions down the road.
most of it like comes from culture. Like this is how it was back in the day, and a lot of like places that have such a younger age of consent, it's more rooted in culture, and they just haven't changed that because like, who are you to go against culture like that?
My point being is like in the United States mainly. Do you think they kept raising the age because people were like, hey, like my daughter or my son's having sex and they're too young, and then the government was just like, we'll fix that and we'll make money off of it?
I don't think that it's done inherently on purpose to make money. That's just
Because like I was trying to more or less allude to like the whole idea of the prison industrial complex. What's the
the prison system.
the prison system?
You don't gotta get fancy with it.
I just want to know the right words. I'm watching this show about a doctor who talks all fancy, so it's like I'm trying to do that.
Don't try to emulate it.
And I shouldn't.
Yeah. If you're not smart, don't try to stock smart.
Stock smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to stock smart. Don't worry.
That's why you're poor. You don't get into stocks.
Stocks. Actually, I did get into stocks, and I got more poor, so suck it.
Yeah.
So even the stock market was just like, you broke, bitch. No.
Because you don't have an economics degree.
Yes, sir. Your soap smells good. It's got a little fucking
Not gonna lie, I don't like the smell of it.
I
Because
didn't.
it's been so long since I've smelled it.
I didn't like it either at first, but it's got like a nice musk to it, like a nice, like a.
It's like bergamot or some shit, right?
I don't know. I didn't have the lights on. I couldn't read it or see it. It just
You
it
wash your-
smells super earthy and
You
kind of.
wash your fucking hands in the dark. I always turn the light on for you when I leave.
Does UV light help with killing germs while washing hands?
It's not even UV. It's just fucking light to see.
Then who the fuck cares?
You don't look at yourself in the mirror?
I don't want to look at myself in the mirror. I'm disgusting.
That's pretty sad.
Fucking ugly. I know. I'm sad and pathetic and weeping.
'Cause I like looking at myself in the
That's why I look at you when I talk on the podcast, because I don't like looking at myself in the monitor anymore. I'm like, I want to be more professional looking at the camera. Now I'm like, fuck that. There's an audience out there and it's scary.
Is that why you forgot your mic again? So you can just hide yourself
Spooky
behind the arm?
skeletons.
Because you just look fucking goofy.
What? I'm going through a thing right now. I'm real shy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's almost Halloween. It's almost the fucking birthday of 3 Spooky, too. It's almost that anniversary.
I don't like that anniversary.
Why not?
I don't know. I just, every time I go, not that I go back out all the time. Don't do it.
I want to see the date.
Every time I look back at our old shit, I'm always just like, man, I just want to do better shit. But like, I know it's not going to happen. Like, I know it's like, I don't know. It's not even on the main menu anymore when you search it. That's chill.
Well,
Makes
there's a lot
sense.
of other content on top of that that's been newer.
Mm-hmm. There was a comedian in the meantime while you're searching that said something pretty profound while I was working his show, and I'd like to share that all with you today. His name's Dave Williamson, and he's a really funny comic. You guys should check him out for sure. But there was one thing he said, because I don't know what it is, but like when I'm stuck on Instagram or Twitter or the abyss of the internet that is, I think, the embodiment of narcissism.
I thought we were going to say narcotics.
Well, that too, on the dark web. Ooh. Yeah, it's a super okay beer. It's just whatever.
I should be looking over here.
I always feel conflicted, like art or actors or artists sometimes get into it for the wrong reasons. And the last few comics I've had the pleasure of working with have immediately debunked that feeling when working with them. They're all very nice people. But Dave Williams said something specific that really resonated with me. He said, "What good is it being able to buy the whole bar of beer if you're not the kind of guy that someone wants to have a drink with?" And I thought that was really cool.
To do it because you have money.
That's what I'm saying. And I think it's really well worded to say it like that, to remember, like, you can have all the money and all the success in the world and do this or that, but at the end of the day, it's like, if
You're
nobody,
still a loser.
yeah, if nobody wants to have that beer with you, that if you buy everyone in the bar a beer and no one wants to drink with you and have that conversation, you're not the kind of guy that, you're just not a good person. Chances are you have a lot of money, you have success or whatever, but nobody wants to associate with you. And I thought that was just a really good way of summarizing how I feel about like narcissism and all that kind of in the art world and, you know, entertainment industry that I've been seeing and feeling. And it's just refreshing to see someone who has a platform and fame to say something so humble.
Raul sent me a TikTok from the guy who did the first few shows after you guys opened.
Felipe Esparza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's a funny dude.
He was in an elevator and he got Costco and he was like,
They have elevators in Costco?
No, I was at his apartment. And he was like, or wherever he was, his home or something.
Raul lives next to him?
No.
What the fuck?
He was like, every time you don't give me a box from my groceries, I'm going to take a cart. And he was with his Costco cart and all of his shit in it. And he was going up an elevator to his home. Walked out with the cart.
He's a funny dude. I had something to say about him too. Nah, I forgot. He's funny though.
Not memorable.
No, he was memorable. It just, here's the thing, like, the one downside to my job, everything else is an upside, 100%. The one downside is he opened up the club. He didn't open up the club, but he was the second act to opening up the club. He had the whole week to himself. We do 2 shows a night. So I saw his show 10 times in a row. So the only downside is seeing the same act again and again. The first 2 times, just as funny. But by the like 5th or 6th time, you're like, oh my God. I couldn't imagine being on stage doing the same thing verbatim 8 times for 4 days in a row or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you open up that much, like, that is some real fucking discipline to like have to wake up, practice that routine. And the amazing part is most comedians, they'll have jokes, but they do it in different orders every time. Like, they just kind of go with the flow of the audience. If some audience member is wearing like a Metallica shirt and the comedian has a joke about Metallica or metal bands, they'll do that joke first because they just engage with that audience, you know? Or the shit just keeps getting moved around. And I'm like impressed that these guys do all these drugs and then hop up on stage and remember the whole set.
I mean, if you do something long enough.
Yeah, well, I guess if you're doing it 8 times a week, you know, an hour at a time. But it's like, it is one of those things, like, I can't help but like look at that and be like, wow, that is actually gotta be exhausting. Because it's not super labor intensive, bro, but if you asked anyone to do the same thing over and over and over again, especially when it comes to putting on a show, like hitting the same joke delivery, like, that's fucking hard, dude. I gotta give credit where it's due. It really makes it look like, oh, that's work. That's like the corporate industrialized side of that stand-up comedy.
The corporate industrial complex.
The corporate industrial complex. Making the frickin' frogs gay. What do you got? I'm gonna stop talking now. That's it. That's me for the day, bro. I got the first 24 minutes of the show. I was all me. All me talking. I need to learn to shut the fuck up. That's what I need to do.
I gave you the best ways to end the conversation, so I said something. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Ending this conversation. I'm just kidding.
That's very rude. You don't have to throw things.
It's my thing.
Okay, well. Besides the point.
I'm not throwing it at you.
I mean, I was just at school today.
How was school? How is school? What is it to be in school? You said you like the desks, and what's it like being around people on a campus?
I only said the desks were comfortable. Other than that, they made me feel really weird because you can't stretch in
like,
those.
Oh, weird, right?
You can't stretch in those.
Yeah, high school desks peaked.
The best.
The high school desks are the best.
Okay, so it's like it's a little yellow chair. It has like armrests that are yay big. I got
For the people who are listening,
for those for those who
that's
are
how big it is.
for those who are
Very
listening, the armrests are about 6 inches. A little bit bigger than that.
I don't know what 6 inches is. It's very big.
Okay. Well, it's about the size of your iPhone.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And so like the desk, like the fucking writing portion, goes.
The writing portion? The desk portion? The fucking table like... I'm sorry. I need to shut the fuck up.
To touch my glasses, but I'm not wearing
Stop touching your glasses.
I'm not wearing glasses.
For those who are listening, he is not wearing glasses.
I can confirm he is not wearing glasses.
It's good to be back. I feel like we haven't done this.
It's been 7 days.
I know. It's been a while.
So it goes up to the side and around. And so like...
It's like swiveling, right?
Yeah,
Move
but
out of the way.
it goes in like 3 different directions to swivel. Yes, it does like the ultimate arch.
Using this for the viewers. And then use your mouth for the listeners.
So let's say the bottle opener is the tabletop desk writing portion.
For those of you listening, he is holding a bottle opener on top of a coaster. I'm going to stop doing that. There's no one listening.
So the desk rotates out like that. It also moves that way, and then it also goes back that way.
So it's just kind of like a...
It's like a weird pivot.
It's like a parallel park job for your desk.
Yes. So it moves in 3 directions, but it's on the same pivot. Because it goes that way, and down.
Well, doesn't it make sense too? Because in a lot of movies and shit, sometimes you see the character like right in front of them, but sometimes you see him like running off to the side, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. When I first got to Moore Park, the desks were super small. The desk got super small. It's like just enough to write a page.
Yeah, they replaced all of them.
The small ones with the big ones?
Yeah.
Because those big ones are nice.
The 2-way entry.
Yeah. Those ones are good. That's what you need.
Yeah. But these ones, like I walked in the room. I was the second person in there, and I'm looking at these fucking chairs. I'm like, what the? I first immediately thought Minions because they were yellow and small and round, and that's where my brain went. I was like,
banana.
Minions.
No, it's a desk.
And I sit down. I pick one, and I fucked up. I usually have a rule that I broke for the first time in like 7 years.
Well, you have had 2 years off of going to school.
I know, but like I thought about it, but like because I wasn't the first one there, I was
Doesn't
like,
count.
I can't like
a raccoon in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Make a move.
So I broke my rule. I sat directly in line with the projector.
Above you?
Yeah.
So you were right in the middle of the class.
Yeah. And I always sit in at least the 3rd row. Nothing less.
Not too far, not too close.
Nothing less. The 3rd row.
Less, you mean not up more or back more?
Nothing closer to the front. 3rd row is my fucking minimum towards the front. But I try not to go any farther because I can't see shit.
Mm-hmm.
And no one likes to sit there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I always sit at least 2 away from the projector. So I can see diagonally and get everything on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But I fucked up. I sat directly in line with the projector, three rows back. And I'm like, fuck. I can't change seats now. It's just me and someone else. It's me and someone else. I can't fucking change seats now. I'm locked in.
Wait, so what is the rule you have? This the 3 back?
3 back and 2 to the side.
So you didn't really... so you wanted to be on either end, but you went fucking splat in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I can't see shit.
Yeah, one thing I learned, even in college, all the cool kids sit on the side of the class. Either the far back, when you walk in, go to the far back wall, any of those 2 rows, cool kid seating.
See, I don't go to college to be a cool kid. I go there to...
I just noticed the cool kids over there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not there for that either. I just go, oh, those guys are straight out of high school.
Yeah, I couldn't sit in the back of the bus either. I sat in the first 2 rows of the bus when I rode the bus to school. Like a fucking loser.
I was always in the back. Cool kid is a social construct.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, so is the nerdy kid. So is the fucking. Can I say the S word?
Stupid?
Slut.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, slut. I just went for it. I'm just like, let's go.
But all was well in my seat until this fucking huge, super tall fucking dude sat right in front of me, and I was like, God fucking damn it! Like,
And you didn't even like get up and move, because if
No.
that was the case, I'd be like, all right, bro. I'm
no, because I was locked in.
It's not a roller coaster seat, bro. It's a
They're
fucking. It's a
they're
fucking
on
desk.
wheels.
It is a roller coaster seat. Holy shit!
It is. It locks you in. It doesn't actually lock.
Does it have
but like,
pedals and shit? Turn signals?
No, but it has like a little undercarriage where you can put your backpack. It's like a little dome divot thing.
Dog, dimmin' dough. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I put my feet on it, but
I do too.
it's not like a basket though. It's just like a little fucking little slope. And it's attached on like 3 ends to the base of it. Regardless, it's on wheels. It swivels in all directions. So like, if you I try to like push it to like stretch my back because it's
It's
a
the
fucking
best.
theater class. But the desk goes all the way that way, and someone's sitting like
You know what
7
you gotta
inches
do?
to my side.
You just gotta get there with the back to it like that and just crack.
Someone's sitting literally like 5 inches behind me.
You ever sit
I
behind?
don't want to be on her shit.
You ever sit behind a girl in class and they do
Smell
this?
their hair.
What the fuck? Okay, let's hear it. Hop on. I got some shit to talk about Reagan with you too. And the girl like flicks her hair back and it's just all over your desk and you're like I think you and me treat those situations very differently.
Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. You know,
Maybe.
I'm not gonna lie, I have touched the hair before.
Plant Daddy, whatever is boiling in you, man. I'm
Hello.
excited to hear it.
Yo, 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 what's up, guys?
What up, bro? How's it going?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing all right, to be quite honest with you, man. There's a lot of shit going on in this fucking country that I am fired up about, man.
Well, let me ask you real quick, man. How is
ahead.
Sasha?
Sasha is sleeping on the couch next to my wife who's watching TV right now.
What a potato.
Yeah,
All right.
she's doing her thing.
Now that we have all the business out of the way, let's talk some shit about the country.
All right, so let me break this down because I got fired up about an hour ago. So I decided to make a Facebook post, right? I said this country is going to shit. Let's talk about it, right?
Let's talk about it.
Simple as that, right? So my first comment was the whole West is on fire or thick with smoke. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah,
What are
all
you
the
guys dealing
fires.
with over there? Yeah.
It's
So-
all Northern California, not really us this year, thank God.
Well, so he's in Arizona and he's dealing with the effects of this smoke. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's what I found out was that he's like the whole West is on fire or thick with smoke, and I'm like, all right, cool, tell me about it. And he's like, I just did. I was like, well, tell me more. So then he broke it down. He's like, dude, I just I got a BMX membership for my kid that's getting wasted because we can't go out and race. He's like, my wife's having trouble breathing because of the air quality. He said on the bright side, the temperature is lower because of the thick barrier of smoke, LOL. I'm like, well, that's looking
insane.
at the glass half full.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, it gets a little smoky almost every year. And of course, there's fires yearly. He's like, but this is the worst that I've seen as far as he's been there and as far as he's known. And his issue is that his wife's, medical conditions are actually getting affected in such a way that it's actually, manifesting itself in his daily life. So then I'll just run you through this post real quick because it gets pretty interesting. The next comment says, no shit. People always talk about the world ending. The world is not going to end. Our society, on the other hand, will. We are close to that now. Even the doomsday clock is closer to 0 hour than it has ever been. Every society before us has failed. We will be no different. And I was like, whoa, dude. I was like, whoa, whoa.
Wait, you said that or someone else did?
No, somebody else else said that. And I'm like, that's not exactly what I meant. But if I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, but if that's what you believe in, then I can see why you could be fearful. I'm like, if that's something that you truly believe in, then I get it. I do. I get it. Then somebody else goes, he literally just comments, lock and load. I'm like, I'm with that energy, bro. I'm like,
Hell
let's
yeah,
go.
brother.
They just wanna
Arm
go to
up and
war.
get ready. Yeah, I'm like, arm up and get ready for what's going to happen.
You know what's going to prevent the government from falling? Taking over the government. That'll help a lot.
Ooh,
Too soon.
where it's
That's
ran
too
by the
soon.
people. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Afghanistan. They're doing fine.
Yeah, and so all right, so that's what's coming up next is
You just know how to segue
somebody
out.
Ran by the people.
yeah, perfect segue. The next comment goes, what is happening to the women and children in Afghanistan is terrifying as fuck and shouldn't be happening here or not. I can't even think about it. So I was like, what are you hearing? What is happening? Tell me about it. So the person responds, seeing women fling their children over fences into some random guy's arms in the army, or not knowing when or if they will see each other again, is heartbreaking. Can't imagine how terrified they must be. People hanging onto planes and falling off, doing anything and everything possible not to be there. Can't imagine. Which is what we spoke about last week. Right? And this is what I responded, because I mean, as you guys know, I like to play devil's advocate. So what I said was, we see the same kind of actions from families fleeing the cartels from South America. In that, they send their children off not knowing if they're going to make it or whatnot. They may be turned away or they may make it, but they're trying to do it for the better of the children so that they have a better life, which, we understand. I said definitely heartbreaking. The planes is definitely tragic. And then I responded with, but if I may state that we are also dealing with a nation that has fought against Islamic extremism, whose ideologies include sacrificing themselves in order for the good of their religion, and with the assurance that they will reach their religion's highest honors. So I asked, are you sure the people clinging to the planes are doing it in the pursuit of freedom or the pursuit of their religion's final message? Right?
Yeah, or just
Definitely.
a power grab.
Exactly. I mean, the people that are trying to flee, are they Islamic extremists? Are they looking for freedom? Are they trying to infiltrate? We don't know. There's no way to really know. And so that was the question, that I posed back to that person. And then the final one that I've gotten so far, because like I said, it's only been 45 minutes that I've had this status up and I've gotten these messages. The last one was, getting a job as a receptionist now requires a bachelor's degree, and they're only paying an average of $13 an hour.
Damn.
To which I replied, really begs the question, why is higher learning shoved down everybody's throats then when the jobs you're meant to get with them will hardly pay the charges you accrued while getting the degree? I said, I feel this argument so heavy in my bones because, as people that have been to college, you guys know what it's like, going to college and accruing this debt and then having to pay it off, but not knowing if you're actually going to get a job in the career field that you studied so hard for and that you worked so hard for. And even if you do get there, there's no guaranteeing that you're going to be able to pay off your debt in a timely fashion, which is
Before you die.
fucking tragic. Yeah, which is absolutely tragic for the American educational system, which at one point was top in the world, and now we're like 50 something in the world as far as education is concerned.
Yeah.
And that's not including the countries that literally offer higher education for free, or the majority of education for free, and then higher education is the only time in which you actually have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then we got COVID, man, and the fucking the mandates and the mandatory mandates, which you guys don't have yet, but here in New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, they're looking to forcefully say that any state employee, educational employee, and healthcare workers and food service workers all have to have vaccinations in order to work. That's what they're basically saying right now. They're saying you have to have your vaccinations in order to work, or you don't work, period.
I have to have one to go to school.
Exactly. And so the question is not so much school, because you can do online learning. You can easily
if
sign
I
up
want to go
for
on campus.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to go on campus, but there's other options as far as education is concerned. Online learning. ASU has one of the largest online degree programs in the country, which is awesome, and it's always been an awesome way to get a degree from, like New York City, if you're getting sponsored by like Starbucks or whatever, because they do an education program.
I hear Starbucks has one of the best, actually.
They have the best educational programs for part-time workers, where they will send you to ASU online, unless you actually live in Arizona, where you could actually go to the school. But if you're outside of the state, you can do online learning, and they'll pay free of charge for like a certain amount of credits per year, which is awesome. But that begs the question for the people that don't agree with the vaccination process and the vaccinations and the vaccines, and realizing that the vaccines that they're forcing people to take have already been proven to not be affected on, like, let's say the Delta variant or possible further variants. It's really weighing on a lot of people's minds here on the East Coast. Like I said, the tri-state area, the New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut areas. I'm a construction worker, and now the job site that I'm on specifically, because it is a school, the school is mandating that all the workers have their vaccination cards, which is okay. I have no issues with that, because we are working at the school, and what the school says goes. Simple as that. Because they are the owners of the project. So that's how it always goes, is if you're the owner of the project, whatever you say goes. That's how it works. And so the school is saying all the workers have to have their vaccinations in order to work on our facilities. That I have no issues with. What I have an issue with is that the whole city, on, even like basic, residential or regular job sites, if the whole city says that construction workers as a whole have to have vaccinations in order to work, that's where I have an issue, because that's my entire career, right?
That's your livelihood.
That's my livelihood. And if they're forcing me to get a vaccine that I am not comfortable with getting, because I see the news, but I see what's actually happening out in the world. It's almost been like, March of next year will be 2 full years that I've been working nonstop throughout COVID, and I've never gotten COVID, never gotten the sniffles, never got this, never got that, never had to worry. And I'm wondering why and what is the justification of me having to get a vaccine when I've fought through all this already, and it's not affected me. So, and besides that, like, there's people that I know that are scientists. I'm not going to bring up any names or anything like that, but pharmaceutical scientists that have told me, if you don't need the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. And God forbid you do need the vaccine, this is verbatim what they're telling me. If you do, get one vaccine over the other. They're telling me which vaccine to get if I absolutely have to get it. But the same pharmaceutical scientists that are telling me not to get it, or to get it from one company, they're also telling me don't get it if you don't need to. And this is like the internal battle that I'm that I'm having, and that a lot of people are having over here. It's not just me. I have the what's it called? I'm lucky enough to know a pharmaceutical scientist, but not everybody is, and so there's much more people that are worried about this vaccine that don't even have as an inside knowledge as I do. So it's even worse for them, because we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they mandate it for all construction workers, that's going to be a really big issue, because a lot of people are going to say, fuck that, I'm not doing it, which is going to be a crumble between the infrastructure in New York, and it's going to be a huge mushroom effect. But this is the point where I'm at in my own career, but then also with, social issues like Ghost Hand was saying, because I said, the country's going to shit. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it, boys.
Yeah. So I wanted to immediately address what you said, right? Because I think you're saying it really well. Is like, if you don't want to do something, you shouldn't have to. And this is very crudely worded, but there was a Elon Musk interview where Elon Musk says if people want to make stupid decisions, they should at least be free to do so. And I'm not saying taking the vaccine or not taking the vaccine is stupid or anything like that. I'm just saying,
if you want to do something,
if you want to go bungee jumping or you want to go skydiving, that there's the risk of your chute not opening or you getting injured, but you can still do it. You're still free to do so. And all of a sudden, with the vaccine, it became very polarizing very quickly. And all of a sudden, you are not free to not do something or to do something. And that's very divisive. And the more I look at the numbers of COVID vaccines and infection rates and Delta variant spreading, a lot of it's in Florida. And I was just telling Josh this earlier. It's really Florida, a lot of Texas, and California is seeing spikes. Everyone's seeing a bit of a spike, but it's still relatively safe numbers. And I was curious, are they pushing the vaccine? Are they reinstating the mask mandate in California because they want people to be like, oh, fuck, if I have to get the vaccine to get this mask off my face, I'll do it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like it's this mix between we should be able to or we should be able not to. Like, everyone has the right to be left the fuck alone, which is something I need to work on, clearly, at bars and crannies.
You just need to work on shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, you're right. But everyone should have the right to that, and it feels like those rights are being taken away. And I can sympathize with that when people are saying, look, I just want to go bungee jumping. Look, I just want to go skydiving. Why does it matter if I wear a parachute or not? You know, essentially. But
because one person can affect the other. At that point, you're just affecting yourself.
I know, but
that's the explanation.
But
that's the idea.
Actually, but if someone,
wait, let's go off of that real quick, Al.
Really quick,
because
can we get Ghost Hand in this chat channel?
Yeah, throw him in.
Yeah.
I don't know
what
how
I can
Discord
do
works.
is, yep, I'll move him.
Thank you, sir. Because he wants to win. Perfect.
There you go.
Hey, the gang's all here.
He is here. He is here. Al, I do want to say that Josh is correct in that I'm playing devil's advocate once again. When you go bungee jumping or skydiving, you are affecting no other life but yourself, except for if you go skydiving and
the tandem.
you do the tandems. Exactly. That's still only isolated. The issue with COVID is that what they're saying is that by me not being vaccinated is that I'm affecting everyone around me. I'm affecting everybody that I ride the train with, everybody that I work with, this, that, and the third, and everybody. Which, to a degree, I understand, because I do understand that it's like the ideology of, well, it's for the greater good. And I get that, but I'm also a person that feels strongly about my own personal health. And I know that I've been safe throughout this entire time. I know that I've taken proper precautions. I know I'm not getting people sick. I've watched people get sick around me and still not gotten sick. I've watched people come into work sick and get 3 to 4 people sick at a time that I was also in contact with and still not get sick. And I do mean close proximity sick. They were close proximity working with me and they're getting sick and I'm still not. And this is the internal battle, like I was saying before, is that I understand that it's for the greater good and that it's, the crowd, the crowd safety or whatever, which they've already debunked and said, well, that's not enough. So if you're telling me that's not enough, why are you forcing everybody to get vaccinated? You've already contradicted yourself.
Because if it's not enough, it'll never be enough.
Exactly. You've already contradicted yourself on the masks. You've already contradicted yourself on the vaccines. You've already contradicted yourself on variants of the disease or the
virus.
The virus itself. So it's like, at what point are we going to make a decision on what's real and what's just you guys panicking? Because that's what it really seems like, is they're just panicking and they're running out of ways to make people feel like they're safe. When, guess what? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not healthy.
But
Maybe
you were
they are
always not
susceptible
safe or
to
not healthy.
Exactly. So it's like, At what point do we say, just live your life and live it how you want to?
Roll
and
the
if
dice.
you die, you die. If you don't, you don't. But that's kind of how life has been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the same thing with and I don't want to take it to like the
Car
flu
accidents
shot,
or smoking or drinking.
Yeah,
it all affects your health and
to an
your
extent.
lifespan.
Yeah, to an extent, of course. And I want to let Ghost Hand talk because I know he came in. He's got some ideologies.
Yeah.
But realistically, I mean, you know, between me and my wife and my brother and a couple other people that I know and a lot of other
Sasha.
people, never had the flu vaccine. Never gotten the flu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My brother went into the Navy. It was mandatory for him to get the. Yeah, great. She just got the mail, and we just got a safety and COVID-19 pamphlet from the state. Great.
Nice.
But never had the flu vaccines. Never gotten the flu. My brother went into the Navy. It was mandatory for him to get the flu vaccine. He's gotten it every year. He's gotten the flu every year since then.
Damn.
He spent 19 years never getting the flu and being out in the world. Went into the Navy at, I think, like 20 years old and has gotten the flu ever since. I think he hasn't gotten the flu in like maybe 2 years now, but he's also not gotten the flu vaccine in those also 2 years.
Damn.
So we're working away from that. My wife, same thing. Never had the flu vaccine for 20-something years. Finally got it, started getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with her. She hasn't been getting the flu vaccine. She hasn't gotten the flu since, kind of deal. So it's like, these are real world scenarios. These are real people.
It's different for
These are real
everybody.
people around me. It's different for everybody. So it's like, at what point are we going to say...
Yeah. And for you, it works
Just
best
live.
to not get it. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. But but the point that I'm at, I'm like, at what point are we going to tell people to just live your fucking lives? Take the precautions that you want or don't.
The second they have control,
Roll the
man.
dice or don't. You know what I'm saying? Roll the dice or don't. Take the precautions or don't. But live your life, because there's no way for us to shelter ourselves every single day and live in a fucking bubble. That's not how the world works. That's not how the world has ever worked.
Like
And
New
God
Zealand
forbid
going
this
on
was-
lockdown after
Yeah.
having one case.
Yeah, dude. They went on. They went to the extreme tier.
And guess what? I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're good now. I'm sure they were in lockdown for like a month. The guy was probably cured in like 2 weeks, and everything's fine.
You also,
But
if I may, real quick, you also gotta
Yeah, go ahead.
think about like when New Zealand does open up, when the whole rest of the world does open back up, and coronavirus hasn't gone away because everyone says it's here to stay. Is New Zealand always going to take that stance? We immediately hard close everything.
They'll probably wait until like a vaccine percentage for
But-
population, but
But to the same extent, is like that is like their reaction, and it's going to be a long time before they reach
it's fucking
perfection.
effective.
It is, but not until you open up to the world again, and eventually they'll have to.
They were open.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, good for them. I don't know. But if you don't mind, I wanted to get Ghost Hand to get his 2 cents in. He's been waiting very patiently.
How's it going in Brazil?
How you doing, Ghost Hand?
It's all right. It's hot. It's really hot. Ooh, there's ashes falling from the sky.
That's on us. I'm
Because-
sorry.
No, they got it stuff.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
No, they got-
This time of the year, we actually have a lot of natural fires that happen because it's so fucking hot, and because the region where I live is actually a lot of grassland. So the grass, it's incredibly dry. It's incredibly flammable. So literally anything, even if the fucking sun can start a fire. And then there's a corridor by the side of my room that is an open space, and the floor is black. It's literally black with ashes. So hooray for that. But I want to make a little interjection and talk about what we are talking specifically. First things first, I came here in the middle of the discussion regarding school systems and school public systems and the hardships of regarding higher education. So I just want to give my 2 cents regarding how it is here in Brazil.
Okay.
Our system is very close to the Canadian and European systems in terms of education. A lot of our systems in general, in terms of health, in terms of school, in terms of public services, are copied directly from either Canada or Europe. So I have a lot of similarities. I went to school, I went to higher education, I went to college, didn't pay a dime. The only thing that I had to buy was the material that I was gonna use because dentistry. So you actually had to buy instrumental, you had to buy some material, you had to buy a lot of stuff. It would be, actually my thesis was regarding how much the general student spent in terms of general expenditures, and how was the general quality of life and how they were hanging on in regards to that. And it's something like $5,000. No, 2,000 to $2,500 they spend in general regarding material, regarding living there, regarding overall spendings. So you have that. That's very exclusively of my particular my particular degree. But in general terms, there's this thing. It's not free education. There's taxes, and Brazil spends a lot in terms of taxes. There's a lot of tax of cumulative value of taxes that are demanded for the population. I think that let me check this. Let me check this. We actually have a thing called the impostometro, that it is essentially the taxometer. It's in 1,648,754,000,000 the reals, that divide that by 5 and you have the amount of dollars.
I can't even do
There-
that math. But yeah, go ahead.
Like essentially a billion to a trillion, and you have that. What I mean with that in Brazil is a specific case, because at the same time that we pay a lot of taxes, but a lot of taxes, the government don't spend them. Doesn't spend either doesn't spend it, or spend it in a way that is they spend more than they should, and they have the diminishing return. They spend a lot, but there's inflating expenditures in order to actually take a lot of this money for themselves. Problem that we don't have that much in Canada or in Europe. As shitty as it is, it's still a better fucking system than in the US.
Okay.
I did my 5 to 6 years degree to actually get my degree. I would have spent like $50,000 in all of it if I were in the United States. I spent a lot. I spent like $2,500 to $5,000 alone, only paying for what I had to pay. And I actually live in the city where I went to college, so I didn't have expenditures regarding to a place to live, to daily food,
Housing
to
and all that.
transport, stuff like that, housing and all that. So this system, while flawed, I think it's a much better way to do it than you have the United States, because the United States have this problem. There's a lot of third-party interference in it. You not only have the universities, but you have the companies, banks and companies that loan the money for tuition, for classes, for materials, for stuff like that. I cannot begin to imagine what a medicine course, a medicine degree is going to cost someone in the United States. Especially if it is someone...
It's over. It's just for reference. Generally, it's over $100,000 US. On average,
spend-
it's over
you-
$100,000 US.
Here you're going to spend a little bit on books. Some books are not covered by the school, the college system, always. But you're going to spend like $1,000 in a book like that.
So between 2019 and 2020, it was 250,000 to 330,000 in a private college just last year to attend medical colleges in America.
And that
Okay.
creates a problem.
Yep.
Where I'm trying to get with all this, a lot of these professions, a lot of these these lines of work are completely fundamental to the well functioning of a society. Doctors, engineers, um, everyone within the medical industry, dentists, biochemists, biochemists, everything like that is completely necessary. What happens when you actually make the high school, the college system like the way that you do in the US? You not only stagnate the system, you not only put a clog in the system, you could have so many much more doctors, engineers, people working within the law system than you have now.
Actually,
It's
can I want to jump. I want to jump in on that as well, Ghost Hand, because you bring up a
please,
really
please,
good
please do.
point. No, when you're done, I actually because what you're saying is
Okay,
is hundred
let me,
percent factual.
let me just finish with my thoughts. As someone
Yeah.
that lives in Brazil, as someone that lives in a third world country, it may come to a shock to you guys, but our colleges are actually really fucking good. Like our higher education is better than our basic education,
I can
and
tell,
that's
man,
a
by talking
problem.
to you, you're smart as fuck.
and that's a problem in itself because you don't actually strengthen the base of the society to actually prepare them through this good education, and that creates a problem because the majority of people that go into higher education are very privileged people, are people that are in the top 15 to 20% of society. And that creates a problem because you are actually not bettering the life of the majority of the population. That's why we have quotas, not only racial quotas, but quotas for people who actually have um, eh, financial troubles. They are not very well financially speaking. And that was actually one of the points that I aborted in my thesis. And now close to 50% of the space for higher education in Brazil is going to be dedicated for people who actually have financial problems, which I completely agree. It's something that should be done. But there's a problem. You didn't actually prepare most of these people through regular public education. There should have been a point in time where there was a consideration of, hey, maybe we should invest more into public education in general while we are doing that. And they're not doing that. But that's beside my point. My point is that the moment that you actually starts creating a commercial value, a commercial system within the educational system, regardless being basic or higher education, regardless being the college system or a high school or primary school, you're gonna fuck things up because you have a little bit of a problem. The major problem with the United States college today is bloating. Even with the pay high education in the United States was not such a nightmare situation like it was 30 to 40 years ago. 30 to 40 years ago, you could pay your tuition fees with a minimum wage job. But there's the problem. Wages not only been shrinking, not only the cost of life has becoming higher, not only the school system, the high school, the higher education system has become bloated because they have a lot of useless positions, they have a lot of spending that in useless stuff, like maintaining archaic systems of spending, archaic systems of teaching, archaic systems of in terms of material, in terms of actually physical material, in terms of books, in terms of machinery, in terms of everything regarding physical media, physical instrumental. It's bloated and outdated, and it keeps getting more bloated and outdated because there's an incentive for that, because people are earning a lot of fucking money. And there was a guy. He was one of the candidates for the United States election alongside Trump and alongside Biden. I don't remember his name right now. He was. If you guys can actually remind me, he went on Joe Rogan. He actually talked a lot about the school system as well.
Biden's
The
campaign?
no,
Not
no.
Biden,
There
not
there
Trump,
was a
but someone else.
there was a guy.
Bernie?
I don't want to. No, it was not Bernie. I don't want to generalize or be racist, but it was an Asian guy. I don't remember the name.
Chang.
Oh, Chang. Yeah.
Yeah.
$2,000 for everybody.
Yeah, let's go.
A
He
month.
was on.
He had a shot, man.
He was on. The guy got my respect by the simple fact that he was on the few people that actually criticized the goddamn high school, the goddamn higher education system, and actually discussed why was the problem. And it was specifically because of the bloat within the educational system, and because the educational system has a huge hand holding with banks. With we loan
Money,
companies,
money.
we loan companies, and it's a vicious cycle that keeps the goddamn banks and the goddamn loan companies keep feeding loans to these guys, keeping putting the students in debt. These students in debt become slaves of the system within these university systems, and the cycle continues. Which is gonna be much worse if you actually go for a degree that is useless. Because a lot of people go for a degree that is useless.
Art.
I have nothing against people who go to art. If that's not where your heart is, fine. But
Your degree's
motherfucker,
useless,
it's gonna
Alec.
be.
So is yours, and it's
gonna-
fake.
It's gonna be a hard time. It's hard for me. I cannot find a fucking job where I am, and I'm a goddamn dentist.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why a lot of people go to trades, because you
Yeah.
don't fall into the same traps that you do with the college system. The college system should be the trade system. The trade system is actually the blueprint for what the higher education in the United States should be. And they don't learn. They don't fucking learn. Now, this is my I actually overblown this topic because it's just it's a mal point in what we are actually talking, that is about the vaccine. But I actually feel very passionate about this topic, and I wanted
Sure.
to actually let this out there. And my condolences, man. You guys are fucked there. I am in fucking Brazil.
I love
and
you,
I
bro.
am and I am in a better position than you guys.
You're
I had-
probably
I had- I
right,
had a
dude.
hot bet.
I'm 100% positive you have more money in your bank account than I do right now. I'm 100% positive. You want to know why? Because I'm negative.
It's not about how much money you have. It's how much money you own, people. That's the trick.
I guess I'll be on top of that for a little bit.
That's the
But
trick. But that's my point. That's my general point in that specific topic. I have a lot to say regarding the vaccine, regarding pharmaceutical companies, regarding big pharma.
can I
Because
real
big pharma
quick?
is a fucking thing.
Can I
Please,
real
please do.
quick cut you guys off? I strongly encourage you guys to take notes because I love talking with you guys. You guys are so insightful. You guys are so smart. But we
I like
do
to listen.
but we do jump topics quite a bit, and I do know that Plant Daddy did want to say something about 10 or 15 minutes ago. So I'm encouraging both you guys to take down notes during our conversations because I feel like we're jumping around quite a bit. And before we get off topic for Plant Daddy, is your topic still relevant right now before we start moving on? Because
Yeah, it's definitely still moving on. I mean, it's still your podcast, so if there's other topics that you guys want to get onto,
No, I just want to make sure we're
more than welcome
staying. I just want to make sure we're staying focused on one at a time because I love the passion and I love the discussion, but I think more importantly,
Organization.
we need to at least not just be rambling. Not that you guys are rambling, but I found when we did like our movie review on the American Factory or our Drunk History special, it's very easy for us to get carried away and trail off into
to
another
go on tangents.
to go on
Oh, yeah.
tangents, and then we're going through A, B, and C. We never really close out column A, B, or C. We just kind of let it all out there, and that's fine. But I want this place to be a real discussion and a real place for understanding. So I'm encouraging you guys to take notes and going back to what people are saying. And I just want to give the floor to Plant Daddy real quick because he said he had some input on what Ghost Hand was saying, and Ghost Hand was about to change the topic.
Mr. Plant.
So let's just all try
yeah.
to make an effort to stay on the same track.
Everything was that he was saying was 100% correct. What I wanted to comment on earlier was the ideology that he stated, which was why does tuition have to be as much as it is for, let's say, doctorate programs? Right, you're getting your doctorate in anything.
Give me
And if we
fucking
want to
money.
talk
Give me
about,
fucking money.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
if we want to talk about doctors as in the doctorate program, and not, I'm not saying doctors of, science, or doctors of this, doctors of that. We're talking
PhDs.
about
Medical
actual
doctors.
doctors. We're talking about medical doctors. He brought up a really great point in which, why are we making our doctors fall under a certain financial bracket when you could be poor and be one of the smartest people in the world? Elon Musk wasn't
He just had the idea.
listen, he wasn't completely poor, right? He wasn't
No, no, no,
completely
no.
poor. He went
I'm gonna-
broke.
I'm gonna make intergenous.
His dad had the emeralds.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's
Yeah,
that's important.
Exactly.
But he
This
says
is
his dad
exactly-
didn't give him
yes.
any emeralds.
Take notes, guys. Take notes. Let him
No,
talk.
yeah. So this is the point. This is the point that I'm trying to make, is that if we have intelligent people coming out of every tax bracket, right? We have people coming out of all these tax brackets. We have all these school loans and all this and all that. If we had the fundamental values as a nation, or as a society of people from all countries, doesn't, as just people, where our medical field comes first, where we decided, okay, yes, you do need to pay school tuition in order to cover the costs of just feeding you as a student, or clothing you as a student, or paying the Wi-Fi for a student, and paying the electricity as a student in a school. Okay, that kind of stuff I understand, because there's so many more resources that it takes in order to do that. But when we take that away, right, and you have to pay your teachers, of course, but when we take that stuff away, what is the true inflation of the cost for tuition? And actually, Rockefeller, back in 1927, said the same thing. He said, we need the education system more. We need to send more people to school. And why are we charging them so much to go to school when we need them to be educated? This is from Rockefeller. Rockefeller said this. He said, we need the people to be educated more so than we need them to pay for their education. Right? And so this really comes into play when you look at that whole ideology of, why do all these people need to pay so much money? Why can't even just the regular people just fail out of school? Because if you've known anybody to go through a doctorate program, you need to have an A average at minimum to go anywhere in these programs. So it's like, unless you're actually studying and taking care of, your studies, you're not going to make it anyways. So if you're not going to make it without great grades, then it doesn't matter what you're paying. You know what I'm saying? If you were going to study your ass off and have an A average in everything all the way through your doctorates, it doesn't matter if you come from a poor family or a rich family.
And look, you figure that the knowledge in the textbook is all the same.
A's, exactly, but if you're both getting A's, what does it matter?
That's what I'm saying.
How
Like,
much you pay? Yeah, how
the
much you
textbook
pay,
is the
which
textbook.
Is what Ghosthand, which is what Ghosthand was saying. He's like, why is it so expensive? And the truth of the reality is that it's so expensive because the banks took over the schools. That's where we got school loans, is because you're getting it from the banks.
Because everyone's doing their
the
job
banks-
really well.
Yeah, the banks own the majority of the schools in our nation. That's just the way it is because they do school loans. But when you step back and actually look at the education system and what it actually means,
Hold up.
If you can get a federal student loan, don't get a public student
Yeah.
loan. That's the better route to go. That's what I do.
No. Let me just make a little interjection here and complement what Plant Daddy is saying. I'm gonna let you talk, but I need to say this. It's within the topic.
Go ahead.
But another thing that, besides the fact that the banks essentially have the higher education by the balls through the fact that they are essentially they make themselves being the lifeline for a majority of the students is the
Yes.
fact that today the the structure of a college, and I'm saying about the human aspect of the distribution, people who actually administer all this stuff, it's intentionally becoming more bloated and confused so it can justify this. They intentionally making positions, careers, certain job descriptions as complicated, as bloated, as unnecessary as humanly possible, so they can justify. Look, we have all these people who we have to pay. We have all this structure that is only maintained by having like 5,000 employees. And we have essentially, there's a popular term here in Brazil, and I don't know if it is used in the US. It's called a ghost employee. It's
Never heard of
essentially
that.
I think
it's
I
essentially
have.
it's essentially a position that is created. They create a fake position. They create a
worker.
prop position in order to give the impression that this system is more complicated than it is. Either put someone that does nothing there, or there's no employee at all.
It's probably
and
my
they
job.
they keep doing this and more and more and more to the point
I have the
where
definition if you want.
in what it's more of an expression. It's not necessarily a definition here in Brazil.
Well, I mean,
it's because
like here, I
because
guess.
because we have a lot of governmental scandals in which we have ghost employees. They essentially create fake positions in order to justify the structure, the bloated
budgeting.
structure that they created. They are inflating their budgeting by creating fake
I see
or
that.
semi-fake positions.
I see that.
That's what they're doing. That's why the higher education is becoming much more expensive. That's why they are demanding more. That's why teachers are demanding more. That's why the colleges, not even that, our other stuff is because the administrative positions, the managing positions in those colleges are the guys that receive the money. The professors, the teachers, the employees, they never see that money. They never see in the sense that they never get an actual say in the distribution of that money. It's always a very focused group, very small group. A lot of the peoples that owns colleges are businessmen. Are businessmen that manage all this, and they decide we are gonna artificially inflate our budget. We are gonna keep paying the professors the same. We're not actually paying our educators better. We're not actually paying our employees better. We're actually doing nothing. We are just inflating, but we're just creating fake positions, pretending that there's actually a justifiable reason for why we're spending so much fucking money, and we keep the money to ourselves. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, if you'd like to read the definition, now's your shot.
Technically speaking, a ghost worker or ghost employee is someone recorded on the payroll system but doesn't work for the organization.
Got it.
They can be a real person who, with or without their knowledge, is placed on the payroll, or a fictitious person invented by the dishonest staff. It is illegal in most
It's
places.
essentially a fake position.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word here, it's illegal.
Got it. Yeah, man, I have no rebut to that. It's illegal here. It shouldn't be happening,
But it does happen.
but it does happen.
It's legal.
But it sounds like what I said earlier was they're doing it for their budgeting. They're doing it because you ever seen the movie Office Space?
No,
Your homework is to go home and watch Office Space.
I can't assign you homework.
And
not right.
basically, at one point, they keep one employee on the payroll, but he does literally nothing. And then corporate comes in and they're like, fire him. And they fire him, but he still shows up to work every day. It's kind of sad, kind of hilarious.
Just hanging out.
But at the same time, that's exactly what a ghost employee is. The company was like, we're a huge company, we're corporate, we'll keep one person on the payroll and just be good people, and he won't have to do any work. But
It's like when we have mail-in ballots from people who are like 114 years old and deceased.
the thing
Showing
is, on paper it works out because when you look at it, through the eyes of a budget or through the eyes of a corporation, they don't care because all they do is based on numbers. Until someone comes in for an audit and they go, "What are these fucking numbers coming from out of nowhere?" And you're like, "Oh, I have to explain that it's a ghost employee."
They're not going to say that though, because that's illegal.
No, of course, but it's one of those things. Like, when I went to middle school and high school, every teacher was like, "Buy new computers, buy new chairs, buy new projectors," because if we don't spend the money in the budget, we don't get that money. We don't get that money next year in the budget.
Might as well spend it. I would do it.
So a lot of people are of the mindset of buy.
Fuck yeah.
And I guess I get that. But think of the money you're stealing from another place that could really use that budget. Think of a school in LA versus a school in Ventura County. If a school in Ventura County's books are 2 years old, but the school in LA County's books are 10 years old, and you buy new books every year in Ventura County, and they give you the books in Ventura County because you're a higher rated school system.
It's because we got less people. It's not as impacted. We get more one-on-one time with our students.
Same. But at the one second, man. Sorry. At the end of the day, they're giving it to one person over the other, and if someone only ordered the amount of books or projectors or TVs they needed, then they could more efficiently organize the budget. But people's greed kicks in and goes, I want, buy with the budget we have, so we get the same one next year. My point being, if people stopped, thank you, you got to click it. If people stopped doing that, you would be able to more effectively balance in impoverished places around the world, at least around the country, with more affluent places around the country. And go, Stan, go. Thank you.
And just one thing, you know what's sad? What's really sad?
Planned out of here.
It's really not expensive at all to actually invest in education. It's really not that expensive at all because you can actually make deals with companies regarding books, regarding computers, regarding projectors, regarding chairs, regarding tables, regarding everything. The United States government could so fucking easily go to these companies and say, "Hey lads, we want to make a deal with you guys.
Subsidize it.
We're gonna subsidize it. We're gonna buy from you. You're gonna be our supplier. We're gonna pay you this amount. We're not gonna pay you as much as your retail price, but you're gonna have a lifetime contract with us, and you guys have a security regarding what
like Coca-Cola.
Like Coca-Cola, but not evil and not having little death squads in South America.
Yeah, that's you know what?
Fuck Nestle.
You're right. I definitely said the most evil corporation in South America for sure.
Dude,
in most of Mexico.
They had that squads into the 2000s. They were killing people in Colombia in the 2000s. But enough about that. Just the thing, it's literally a intentional lack of effort by the United States government in not wanting. It's pure laziness, malicious laziness of the United States government. It's not that hard to actually invest in education. It's not even that much money. You spend like 30% of your fucking budget in your military. And you fucking leave the goddamn country, and you fucking spend 20 years in a goddamn desert and do nothing, and then you leave, and then 20 years on the fucking gutter.
Hey man, they're doing all right now.
It was a loss. Go ahead.
Are they? Are they really?
I just want to say.
I spoke too much already.
I just want to sway. I just want to say something that was brought up because it's very factual. Imagine if every corporation that does business here on the U.S. soil had to pay a 1% education tax.
I can read.
And what I mean by corporation is every corporation that does over, let's say, $5 million worth of gross revenue. Imagine if we taxed every corporation that does business here on U.S. soil that does over $5 million per year, you know, of revenue, of gross revenue, if we tax them all just 1%, the amount of revenue that would be for the country, like
it'd be
literally, hold on, literally the U.S. Americans wouldn't have to pay an education tax for where we live ever. If every corporation that did more than 5 million gross revenue paid 1% tax towards towards education, and it was literally divvied up between all the educational facilities here in the United States, like if we, which there's a lot, mind you, there's a lot, but there's a lot more corporations doing business here in the United States than we even know that are gross. And I mean, $5 million, like that's nothing. That's nothing. If we took 1% of every corporation that does business here on U.S. soil, we did 1% of that did, and any of those companies that did over 5 million, dude, we would never have to pay an education tax in any county forever.
But they have lawyers and shit. Like really good lawyers.
They have lawyers and shit. No, I get that, but I'm saying the concept is that if people want to do business with us,
Macbeth.
Imagine if we forced them to, you know, pay for our education. If they want to do business here, that's fine.
You say
Great.
force
Do
them, but it's
business,
just taxes. That's what we pay.
It's just, you know, yeah, exactly. It's just a tax. So imagine if the same people that want to do business here are also being taxed in order to educate the future generations of people that are either A, going to end up working for that corporation in the future, or B, become consumers of that product that they're marketing to our citizens. Imagine what kind of education system we would have where if it didn't fall on the Americans' backs, if it just fell on the corporations that are doing business here, what if we put that on them? 1%, that's all we're asking for, 1%. Any corporation that does business here in the United States over $5 million a year, just give us 1% just give us 1% in taxes, and boom. That's it. 1%. That's all we're asking for our education system. Imagine what kind of country we would live in if our education system was funded by all the corporations that actually did business here. You know?
Well, I'm gonna respond to someone who said something in the chat.
All three of these guys like to talk.
Here's
They're
the
passionate.
thing.
They're really well spoken. They know what they're talking about, but they like to talk.
It's not about not talking or talking too much. It's about listening.
That's what I do.
That's
my
the
role.
fucking key, man. Like it's
Don't
one.
shut the fuck up if I'm actually talking too much.
But that's the thing. Like, look, and here's the thing. Like, I learned this from a friend, man. People who tell you to shut the fuck up are people who were never allowed to like talk as children, right? And like, people only feel guilty for talking too much when they were told to shut the fuck up. And imagine trying to comprehend the world and life and everything in between in a sentence. You couldn't do it. Like sometimes you need to have a run-on sentence. Sometimes you need to be more expressive than a fucking school paragraph. Do you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need to just ramble, vent. Like it's not only just words and ideas, it's emotions you're getting off your chest. And like it's a good place to do that here. We also have a Discord if you want to speak some Russian.
I mean, I don't recommend that. We want to be able to. We don't understand Russian.
That's fine. He speaks English, bad. But all I'm saying is like let's. I'm not.
I don't think he was trying to be mean. I think it just got lost in translation.
I don't think he was either. But I'm just saying like at the same point like I definitely want to cultivate like ideas and freedom, right? Like, and I'm not gonna tell you guys to shut the fuck up. What I'm saying is like, if you guys want, if you go off on a tangent, respect the tangent, and anything you have that opposes the tangent, just write down and then get back to it when you have the time to talk. When you have the talking stick, essentially, you know what I'm saying? And I I think there's no shame in investing time into ideas and conversation, because at the end of the day, that's all we have is how we work together. And I wanted to bring up that because one thing I had written down was we have all these fucking systems, Brazil, United States, we now have Russia in the chat. We have all these different governmental systems in the world trying to figure their shit out and how to work together. So the least we can do is sit down and listen to each other. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if someone from Brazil gives me some good advice about how fucked up the American education system is, and I have someone from New York on the other end being like, yo, this is just how it is, it's a little different.
I'm not a pervert, I'm just Italian.
And then we have Josh doing commentary like that every few minutes. It's going to make it, first of all, a fun conversation, but also a conversation we all take something away from and grow from. And if we all get to sit down and take notes and get our 2 cents in, it doesn't matter how long the conversation takes. It matters where the conversation ends up. And if we end up in a good place, that is what matters, not the length of the conversation. You have to be willing to sit through the 24-hour flight to get to another nation in order to get to your destination. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do some things you don't want to do.
What flight lasts 24 hours?
I'm sure one to Australia, easily China, bro. It was a China flight for 24 hours. All I'm saying is you have to do some things you don't want to do, and if listening is one of them, then you're just not equipped to handle decision making. That's all I'm saying. Like, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be, right? Because like,
There it is.
How can you make decisions for someone you're not willing to listen to?
The longest flight's only 16
Absolutely.
hours. From New York
You're
to
absolutely right.
Mumbai.
Yeah. How can you be a king on your throne listening to your peasants talk and be like, you have 2 minutes? No, motherfucker. Let them talk. Let them say what's on their mind. Let them be who they are.
But if you have so many people you need to get through,
You fucking deal with it, bro. That is what power is. You fucking
Well,
shut
that's
up and
why-
deal with it. You
That's
handle
why a
it.
lot of countries don't have freedom of speech, son.
Yeah,
They don't want to listen.
I know that.
Bang bang.
if I'm in line at the DMV and they don't get to me by the time they close, they're gonna shut the doors right in front of my face.
Yeah, come back tomorrow, motherfucker.
That's
They're gonna
the same
get you,
thing. Tell the people. You got.
but
Oh
they-
shit, we ran out of time. Gotta come back tomorrow.
But they will get around to you.
To be fair, it's
Yeah, so 2
much
minutes
better to be said no, just shut up and go back home,
Mm-hmm.
than to just be told. Very compelling. Please face wall now and be shot in the back of the
Yeah,
head.
let's not forget that people all around the world are being like killed and murdered for like political beliefs and thoughts and ideas.
Tiananmen Square.
Yep.
Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square.
Thank
Tiananmen
you,
Square.
thank you for
there we
thank
go.
you for reducing our audience yet again. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Ghost Hand, please.
Excuse. No, I don't have much to add to this, but it's essentially that the fact that you have. We don't know how good we have. We really don't.
And that's
We
what
are
I'm
in a
saying, yeah.
shithole- We are in a shithole, and we are still better than 80% of the human population. Imagine, and even in those shithole places, I don't want to be. I don't want to actually be dismissive of those places called these shitholes. Places where there's a lot of hardship. That's better. It's still there's gonna be worse places than that, and worse places than that, and worse places than that. And that's the thing. Countries are big places. Even if you are in a position in which you have a lot of problems, you're still probably better than a lot of people within your own country. That's the thing. It's really hard to actually have a full perspective of how things really are for everybody, because you can walk 100 meters and see a guy literally begging to live on the sidewalk, begging for literally a piece of bread because he's starving to death. And you have like 5 meters away like condos and apartment buildings and luxurious clubs and stuff like that. And imagine that on a global scale. And imagine applying the geopolitical aspect to it. It's very. I live here in this country for 26 years. That's my lifespan at the moment.
You're only
And
26 years old?
I'm 26.
Oh my
And-
god, man. You are
and-
fucking I get like 40-year-old not in a bad way. Like, you are wise beyond your years. That's what I'm trying to say.
And it's still hard to me to grasp how my state, it's a different word for our other states, and that's a thing that happens in the US as well. Texas is a different word than Washington, for example, or Ohio or West Virginia. It's like an alien planet. We have, like I mentioned sometimes here in the podcast, but
Yeah.
we have places in the south of the country. They're literally German colonies. There's just blonde and blue-eyed people that speak German, and we have spaces in the north and northeast. There's still native Indian, native Brazilian population from the colonial times. So it's wild. It's really wild. And one thing that I want to put out there: never put yourself down for not being able to follow everything. It's impossible, and it wears you down. It really wears you down to this
Yeah.
stuff. I need to be worried about the geopolitical concept, the geopolitical happenings of the entire world. You can't.
You can't keep
You
up. You
can't.
can't hang, bro.
Try to do your best. One thing that I always tell people, and a lot of people tell me, try to do good in your community, in a community level, in a city or a neighborhood, a local level, because not only it's gonna be much more fulfilling to actually see the effects of your actions, but you're actually gonna be able to do a real impact.
It's that Filipino commercial of
Not only
stop drinking, get money.
I would argue, that a lot of Southeast Asian populations, especially immigrants, have this mindset. We had this in Brazil with the Japanese and the Italians. We had this in the United States with the Koreans. They were very protective of their business, of their communities, of their essentially everything, because they had only themselves to look after in this foreign country, in this foreign culture, in this country that was very hostile and is still very hostile to them to this day. So it forces a sense of community. It essentially forces you to create this sense of family, of belonging, of everything. That's both a blessing and a problem, because a lot of people today earn for this sense of community, for this sense of belonging. And they found this sense of belonging and this sense of community in the worst places possible.
Yeah.
KKK, white supremacist groups, terrorists. How many people in Europe went to actually fight for the fucking Taliban, for the fucking Al Qaeda, for the fucking Islamic State, because they lack a sense of community, a sense of
Nothing else
belonging,
to
a sense
do.
of nothing else to fucking do. You're bored. You are so. I don't want to say privileged, because a lot of people actually
You're
have
not
their-
free to
their-
do whatever you have.
It's not
You're
always-
limited in your scope, you know?
Not only that, but the fact that you actually you reach a point in your cultural development that you don't have where else to grow. You don't have here in Brazil, it's sort of similar in the United States, but a little bit different, because since we actually have a higher percent of cultural miscegenation, we have a little bit easier in terms of than the US in terms of racial tensions, in terms of cultural tensions. We're much more okay with each other. We don't have, we do have a bunch of shitheads, but we don't have like a preeminent. We don't have a preeminent white supremacist movement here, neo-Nazi movement here, a KKK movement here. We are chill. We are mostly chill with each other. But that's a thought. That's a thought. It's very hard, but at the same time, it's very hard for a lot of people to find a sense of community here. I am Italian, from Italian descent, from Italian, Spanish, and Austrian descent. And what we actually do, the Italian community form a sense of community, not in the nationalistic sense, but in the regional sense, because a lot of the people that came from Italy post World War II to this state, to this region, actually came and was established themselves into a very similar position. So a bond was created not only through cultural means, but through cultural and economic aspects. These people actually seek out each other as a sense of community. But
Yeah.
I'm talking too goddamn many times on this podcast. Please stop me.
No, man. I'm telling
gonna
you.
ramble if you don't stop me.
Here's what I'm saying, and I've lived by this. First of all, Sasha is cute as fuck. I'm dying watching you play with your dog. I love pit bulls, dude. It's not even fair. And every day I see pit bulls on my Instagram and shit, and I'm like this fucking close to buying a goddamn dog. Anyway, I always say this though.
Tangent, bro.
I know. I always say this. Community is the most important thing for a person. They need to feel a sense of belonging in a community, whether it's a music community, whether it's a podcast community, Twitch community. There's a million communities that surround us with like imaginary lines, right? Like if you're in construction or a firefighter, or if you're working at Target and going to school, you want to join a fraternity. Or dog exists. I know, dude. I love dogs. It's not fair. Anyway, community is what people want and need, and it's how we grow, right? We're a very social being. We're a very social animal. And when we're deprived of that, we've seen the results. We've seen people who grow up without genuine connections and someone to trust or talk to or confide in. And those things matter. And I think it's so misunderstood, especially now in an internet age where people can synthetically connect or bond without really being in the room with someone.
Yeah, I'm on the fucking Twitter account of some dude who's in the Taliban, and I'm laughing at all the memes he made. They're fucking
Dude, that is
hilarious.
so
Throw 'em up, throw 'em
And you
up.
saw that the guy is actually posting.
DJ, can I still come over? Is your dad home? No homo? Sorry.
Go, Stan, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I saw those videos.
They're so
was a
fucking
guy-
funny.
There was a guy asking if anime was gonna be banned because of fucking the Taliban takeover.
No
and the guy said, nah,
way,
anime is fine.
Anime is fine.
We're actually huge weebs.
Go through this Twitter account I linked.
Middle-
This
Middle
shit's so
Eastern people
fucking funny.
are
Mang?
Huge weebs. It's not even funny.
Are these the Taliban army, bro?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That is all American gear.
Because they were left behind. They put it on. They recreated the fucking soldiers lifting the flag of in Japan or Vietnam. One of the two.
No, it was
one of the two. Somewhere. The U.S.
My dad
soldiers
would be
lifting
so
the flag.
upset for me forgetting that name.
They recreated it wearing fucking the U.S. gear that they
Bro,
left
that
behind.
looks so bad. It doesn't fit any of them clearly, but it looks
doesn't.
badass.
But going through this account, and like it's someone in Afghanistan who's related to the Taliban.
What the fuck?
And like they're posting all of these they're shit posting basically. It's full of memes. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. I'm here for it.
Imagine taking over a country and then just posting memes about it. Look,
That blows my mind.
You can say what you want about the Taliban.
Only
But
13 followers.
But it's wild what they done. It's really wild. They took the country back in like 3 days, and they are posting memes about it. And Twitter is not banning them. Twitter is not banning them.
They shouldn't.
They are not. What a word.
And they're
What a-
all the memes are mocking Western culture, and it's fucking amazing. It's so funny.
It's accurate,
what a word
too.
we're living. What a word we're living.
Oh my god.
The word became a meme. The word is a goddamn meme.
It is.
What? Oh my god. Has 4 wives and 19 children, average IQ of 182. Has a chin, burn. Oh my
Just
god.
some of the fucking memes that the Taliban themselves posts on Twitter are fucking funny.
I really
Drugs and alcohol to cope. Forced diversity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Western
That's what
society.
I'm looking at.
OnlyFans, slut walks, run by immoral rich families.
Yeah.
Consumerism, has no chin. Wife left him for another man, and then they have variety of cultures united in a single faith. Islam doesn't need to cope. Modesty, content with what the Lord has given, has a chin. Bro, stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing, bro.
You had me at has a chin,
Hey,
bro. I was on
I
board.
really want to imagine that they actually had some guy whose job
This
is
dude looks
just
white
40
as
minutes.
fuck, though. This dude looks like me with a. Actually, I look like me with a shitty beard. But this dude
Y'all
looks
do
like
know this is. You do know this is an American, right? Though
Is he?
I fucking hope
This-
it's not.
this account is an American, by the
I
way.
fucking hope not.
Honestly, let's
It
be
is.
honest.
It is.
It is?
That's,
It is.
That's
This-
me in the
this is
sunshine.
This is an American guy. This is not a Taliban.
Yeah. That's a
member.
dude.
This is
shit.
This is an American dude that's been posting this stuff.
That dude looks American as
Right.
These are
fuck.
the memes, but
And
but-
posing
but-
as Taliban?
Yeah.
exactly.
Shit.
But the issue is how like accurate.
Mm.
This isn't a dumb person. This is a smart American that's playing
Very
on
aware.
the strings. Very aware. That's playing on those strings. The post-
Kim
look,
Jong Un
this
is brave
this
as
a
our
good one.
Taliban,
Listen.
but unfortunately, he is not Muslim.
4 hours ago, Afghanistan is not World War II. U.S. Air Force is not involved anymore, and the Afghan Air Force is no more. Now, if someone claims that Afghan army remnants killed 300 Taliban fighters at one position within minutes, then it's called bullshit. That is not a true Afghani speaking. That is an American.
Yeah.
That is as American as a statement as can be made.
What if he defected?
With true knowledge.
He can only defect
No.
if he's a spy.
What if he defected?
That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Why not?
I wonder if the Taliban is actually looking at those memes and having a laugh about it. There's pictures of
Seeing
Taliban
them in the
soldiers.
fucking gym using the workout equipment after they took the
There-
fucking presidential palace or some shit.
There's are pictures of the Taliban guys with ice cream, like you know when they mock.
I just pulled that up as soon as you said it.
The ice cream. Look up Taliban ice cream.
Once upon a time, Ashraf Ghani, the president, was offered us to surrender for him and eat ice cream in Kabul. Today, we are here eating ice cream, but he is not here. I am offering him today to come and surrender. So they literally offered him the same ice cream treat that he offered them to surrender.
American or not, this shit's fucking hilarious.
First off, box of soap is probably an Afghani because he just said, "When is the pineapple pizza giveaway?" That is a spy right there. Real Americans do not put pineapple on pizza.
I put
Box,
pineapple
I'm
on
onto
pizza.
You're not
Box,
real.
I am on to you.
If anything, he's
Nor do real
Italian.
Italians.
If anything, he's Italian.
They
I
would
love
fucking-
pineapple on my pizza.
If you're Italian, you'd get fucking killed if you put pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, well, thank God I live in America. Eat, sleep, and breathe freedom. Oh, jeez.
All of this is just to show how incredibly shallow the United States is in terms of structure, power. Those guys, it's that guy. The United States today is that guy. Is the definition of the guy fake it till you make it. The guy
Yeah.
just pretending to be something that it's not. Because even with the United States military that spends trillions in it, it's a bunch of useless garbage because they cannot actually use it. Oh, we have tanks, we have jets, we have death lasers. It doesn't
Oh,
mean
you, bro.
nothing
Just
in
read
the
that.
goddamn desert. It doesn't mean nothing in the goddamn desert. It doesn't mean nothing in
Two fingers to scroll,
in a no-name nation in Africa, because they don't actually have fighting perspective. They don't actually know what they are doing. They rely exclusively on the technology, and it's not gonna do them well for the rest of the time, and they just keep deluding themselves. They are gonna continue on the goddamn word, and they know what they are doing when they are not. And China is gonna be there to pick the pieces. China is gonna be there to pick the pieces. China is already there. China is already building infrastructure in Afghanistan right now.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. Lads, I have to go. I have to actually make and eat some dinner.
Dinner
Great
time.
discussion. Dinner time, you guys. Thank you very much
Dinner.
for having me. Thank you very
man.
much for
Thank you as
actually-
always.
for actually hanging out with me and actually tolerating me for actually rambling
Always a
around
pleasure,
random
man. It's
stuff.
always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, lads. You guys have a good rest of. I'm gonna keep on the chat, but you guys keep going. Thank you very much. You guys have a good week.
All right, man.
Good-
You enjoy
Good
your
night,
meal.
Ghost.
Enjoy your family.
Bye.
See ya.
Wow. Plant Daddy, I know you got something else to say. Dabs. Okay.
I didn't have anything else to say. I don't know if we're really ready to wrap up.
I'm not. I
I
still got like
know-
half a beer.
I was gonna say I know Alex
one,
is
this
probably
one, this one.
hungry,
I
but
am. But I got time, bro.
but-
I got time for you.
what-
I'll make time for you.
no, not even for me. Like, did we have any? What else did we have on the agenda for tonight?
Let me check. I talked about age of consent earlier.
Oof, that's a
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. The only things I wanted to say, I took some notes. It was that we have a competitive culture in America, and that is probably why everything is so saturated in the markets, because everyone knows they need to go to school in order to get the degree, in order to get the job. And in a way, that's just another saturated market. And then I understood all the different systems of the world coming together, trying to figure out how shit works. But like, yeah, for the most part, it's really just about coming together and like figuring out where you disagree and where you do agree, and then meeting somewhere in the middle. And that's what I've been told has always been democracy, is where do you compromise? Because you're never going to get 100% of what you want. So ask for this and then make this your bottom line.
Okay.
What?
Shut up, Josh.
You're right. I wasn't paying attention. How rude of me.
Exactly. But those Afghan Twitter memes are
They're so
hilarious.
fucking
I
funny.
love how edgy they are.
They're on point. They're so good. No matter like what. We talked about like it was just a random little touch and go, but it was about like diversity or something, like having a certain amount, and I immediately thought of affirmative action.
I got a
Which-
story about affirmative
Which
action if you want to hear it.
9 states have banned affirmative action.
Wait, can I go off topic real quick?
You sure
course.
can.
I don't. This is like just literally something that I thought about. Have you guys been seeing the shit that's been going on, like Portland, Oregon?
No.
No.
Or is it Portland, Oregon, or is it Washington State?
I have no idea either way.
The right wing and left wing battles in the street that like literally
No,
happened
what
either
the
like
fuck?
Probably
Probably Portland,
And, like-
Oregon in that case.
Yeah, there was like
Oregon's
this.
radicalized for sure.
I literally just saw it, and it blew my mind because there's like, it's just so odd to me that we have Americans on U.S. soil
Fighting America.
physically fighting other Americans on U.S. soil
Like a
in
civil
the
war?
streets. Ding ding ding.
Ding ding, bro.
Yeah.
Precisely.
And it was in Portland.
I knew it was.
It
as soon as
was
you said
Portland,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean,
Where
like,
the fuck
what is
do it even start?
What is where the fuck do I
got-
Where did it
really
even
even start?
Yeah.
I got
Holes
holes
in-
that I'm keeping in the
the
dark.
dark.
Yeah. I'm
That's
surprised
dude,
you know
this
that.
is what I'm saying. I'm
Guy in a
like
fucking electric wheelchair.
truthfully, how have we become so divided? How is it like
We're not the ones who are divided. These motherfuckers in the
how have we
streets
gotten
are.
to this point? How have we gotten to this point though? What are they fighting over? Why are they in the streets? Go home.
Right? You have a home.
There's COVID.
Enjoy it.
The last thing I can think about, like the earliest at least, is what happened in Charlotte. That protest, but that was only like fucking 5 or so years ago. Where,
I have no idea what you're
that
talking
dude got ran over by like a Dodge Charger. It was
it was a gay pride rally or something.
it was a
right?
Unite the Right.
That sounds extreme.
It is, but it's like in recent history.
But are you guys like watching the videos? Like it's not as severe as a true war zone, right? But
They're using paintballs,
It's-
weapons, and
yeah,
chemical
basically,
spray.
It's splinter
like
cells
if you
of
look
radicals.
at the videos, yeah, if you take those vehicles and you light several of them on fire and you flip one over on its side and then you just blow one up completely,
That shit's a
like
riot.
we are no different.
Yeah.
We are no different than anywhere else.
And that's the thing is
We are
like,
no different than what we are seeing. We have right-wing extremists,
Holy
left-wing
shit.
extremists. How different is it than Islamic extremists?
It's not.
Besides the fact, if we're excluding just ideology, but the only thing that's different is the level of violence. That's it.
The idea
Am I
is-
wrong?
You're not wrong. And the idea here is that the governments have control over its people.
What
Full stop. Well,
the fuck do you mean by that?
What? Yeah, what?
hold up. So if people are rioting in Oregon, who gets involved? The police? SWAT? National Guard? They need to control the people before the people end up hurting other innocent people.
We just want to know why they're rioting right now.
I don't fucking
Or why
know.
they're
Yeah,
fighting.
let's
Alright.
get beside that real quick.
Alright.
Let's get
We
beside
need
that
the
because
root
I do get
first.
it. I agree. Let's get beside that real quick.
Let's ask them.
Because the reason why I bring this up is because, like I said, the only thing that's different is because don't forget it's left-wing extremists and right-wing extremists. The only difference is the level of violence. The level of violence is going to dictate the level of retaliation from the government, i.e., town government, state government. Because you were like, oh, do the police get involved? National Guard get involved? Army get involved? Technically, the National Guard is, a branch of the military army. So, if we're talking about that, I think the difference is literally just the level of violence, which is what I expressed earlier. But there's the truth of the matter is that there's no difference. Like what I'm seeing here on my screen right now with the pepper spray and the masks and everything, this looks fairly reminiscent of like the French riots.
They're
like when
fucking-
France was rioting.
They're fucking
Right?
LARP.
It's lit, bro. France know how to
Yo,
fucking riot.
Dude, when France was rioting, or even in China, and I'm not talking about Tiananmen Square specifically,
Hong Kong.
but like all over, exactly Hong Kong. It all looks the same. Take away like level of violence, it all looks the same. So I'm like, at what point did we get here where the far right extremists and the far left extremists are battling it out in the streets when, not for nothing, it's been quiet on that front for actually kind of a while. They're not protesting in the streets where they're taking up the roads and they're blocking traffic. They haven't been doing that as much. The riots only ended here in New York like 6 months ago, but it's been like 6 months since we've seen that kind of action here in just New York. And yet in Portland, we're seeing far left and far right extremists battling it out in the streets all over again for
In the middle of the fucking day.
what? Yeah, in the middle of the day, like
Yeah.
nobody has a job to go to.
People-
that's ground zero right there. if there was work, I'm sure half these motherfuckers would be at work.
If you had
but
shit to
obviously,
do.
with the way, but obviously, we want to outsource all of our manufacturing to everywhere else but the United States. So none of these people have any place to be, but in the streets, pepper spraying each other.
Yeah.
So I mean,
They're fucking
with their
LARPing.
They are.
I mean, it's extreme LARPing, but it's kind of lit. Whatever.
The only thing I could think of is what you're saying is what could drive someone to reach that point is probably just extreme propaganda, or again, internet communities of what I said earlier was like the most important thing you could have is a community. But these are communities on Facebook or Craigslist or chat forums
Antifa.
that are radicalized. It's not like this to where we're not going to go out and riot over what we think and feel when we talk about it.
We might.
We might have to.
You never know. Keep you on your toes.
But these motherfuckers go, can you believe this shit? And they go, no, I can't believe that shit. And then the other people go, can you believe that they're doing this shit? And then someone goes, we need to fucking show them a lesson. And then that goes into the streets. And I looked it up. A cursory search on Google told me it's the Garcia Navarro protest. It's a protest in Portland that was going on over the murder of George Floyd. It's been going on for nearly 200 days.
Get over it.
So it's been a protest between the left and the right going on for nearly 200 days, almost a little more than a third of a year, a little less than a third of a year.
Didn't that happen last year?
Oh no, the protest has been going on for
I know, but George.
that was 2020, yeah.
George Floyd,
That was
George
last
Floyd
year.
was last year.
2020. But this protest has been going on for apparently 200 days, and then with some demonstrators resulting in violence and vandalism, and that is where it seemed to hit the boiling point.
Which is crazy because I'm literally looking at a guy drinking an orange Gatorade with a plastic shield,
You got to stay
On his left
hydrated
hand,
during those riots,
where-
bro.
wearing a shirt that says "I hate the left" and racism.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even know who to side with because obviously, like the way that the article is expressed by the Washington Post. Now I know the Washington Post is not a reliable source, but
Yeah.
the person that they have here portrayed as a right-wing extremist is literally standing there with a shirt that says "I hate the left" and racism.
He just
and
had that same
honestly,
picture.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's trying to, because it says that it was a clash between right-wing extremists and left-wing extremists, including Antifa.
Over
And I am
200
not-
days.
And I am not with Antifa. They're 100% a terrorist group.
Yes.
You can fight me on that. They are
I'm not gonna.
yeah, they are a 100%
Domestic
a
terrorism.
terrorist group, a domestic terrorist group here in the United States that are inciting violence because they have. And I see this guy, a true patriot, drinking an orange Gatorade with American shorts and with a shirt on that says "I hate the left and racism." I'm like, bro, I'm kind of with you, son. I'm kind of with you. And if he's fighting against Antifa, anything that Antifa is fighting with, I'm gonna be against them. Like, disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? Like, disclaimer. I'm gonna be against the Antifa because their values and the way that they handle their business is not American at all.
It's like being like, this guy's a nice guy, but he's a Nazi. You gotta hate him at that point. You can't support Nazis.
It's just the
Even present day, if someone's a Nazi, neo-Nazi, whatever the fuck, you gotta be like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. That's the line in the sand everyone has to draw. Is like, yo, when do I fucking fisticuffs with a fucking Nazi?
I mean, the people,
Where do I throw dukes?
The people on the far ends of that spectrum. They could be nice people, but then they're like, eh.
And Ghost Hand, again, I will take you up on that. If the United States collapses in 50 years, I will move into your house and be
Oh yeah,
the
definitely.
most respectful house guest you've ever had.
You need a passport.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, if it collapses in
I
50
just wanna-
years and Brazil's the
I just want
move,
to put this out there. The guy in the picture, his name is Spartan.
do you? Oh,
His
he's
name
the
is
famous
Spartan.
guy.
Spartan of the far right coalition hydrates after the clash between the protesters. His name is Spartan.
On the Washington Post
Wait,
picture.
is the guy holding the Confederate flag a black guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the picture that GoSam posted in
What
the
fuck?
chat, there is an African American man holding a Confederate flag and a white guy holding a BLM flag.
There is so much healing that needs to go on in this nation before anything happens.
This
We need
this
to heal,
picture
bro.
embodies. This picture embodies
How
the fact
diverse
that
we
this
fucking
nation-
are.
How
not even
diverse we are, but how broken this
Confused,
fucking
yeah.
nation is. How broken this nation is.
Yeah.
It really does. Because truthfully, as we're like holding that Confederate flag,
You support slavery.
it embodies
Yeah.
all of the ideology of the
Robert
South
E. Lee.
and what they stood for. And now I understand that the South stood for the United States. They wanted, they wanted our powerhouse.
Yeah, bro.
of a
And
nation
Tiananmen
to be
Square stood
free,
for China.
right? But like, this dude is basically like, he's checking off boxes like, yeah, freedom, let freedom ring, sure. We have the right to bear arms, and this is my plot of land, and I am me, blah blah. Racism, I'm not gonna check that box. I was a slave.
Skip.
No, I'm not gonna do that one. We're gonna skip that one. Slavery in its entirety, we're gonna skip that one. But I'm from Louisiana, so obviously, I'm a rebel.
We need someone to work the fields.
Bruh, no, the fuck you're not. All right. And that's not coming from me as a northerner. I'm coming from like historically the values of the South. I'm like, dude, I understand what you're trying to fight for. That's not the move.
Nothing
all
beats
right?
free labor.
It's not the move.
Nothing beats free labor.
The rebel flag does not embody the values of the United States of America. You're not doing it right. That rebel flag should be a U.S. American flag. It shouldn't be a rebel flag.
Even the United States government denotes it as that. It's like I'm pretty sure that flag. It's not Old Betsy, right? It's the rebel. Yeah, the rebel flag, right? I'm pretty sure even the United States government recognizes it as like a racist flag, right? Josh has it up right now, I think.
Tread lightly, kind of, but it's basically
Confederate
been
flag, that's
all
what it
the
is.
the flag of the Confederacy has been denounced as a flag that represents.
That's what it is.
Represents the faith, or not the faith, but like the values of the South, which included heavily racism and exactly.
That's like,
and so that's why it's denounced.
That's like the 13 colonies. That's like the 13 colonies waving a British flag.
Yeah,
Fight me on that, bro. It's true. We lost that war, and they're like, "Oh, we want Britain back."
I get the idea is there. I get the idea is there.
You see it. Same shit. They're like, "Yo, we might have lost this war, but we want."
But it runs deeper.
But this, obviously, this is more on a national scale. But it's the same principle of like, hey, we lost this war, but like, oh, dude, look at this. And Mississippi's flag is like, hold up. I know Mississippi's flag is crazy. Is it Mississippi or?
Bro, honestly, dude, imagine, and this is just a thought though. Imagine if everybody took those Confederate flags and turned them into American flags.
That's the Mississippi
because
flag.
when people fight against like the Confederacy flags, they bring American flags, right? So imagine if the Confederate flags changed to American flags. Imagine the discord that could be had if people realized, all right, you're holding. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like you're holding an American flag and I'm holding an American flag. Where's the difference? Well, let's talk about it. Like that's what really needs to happen is, what values do you hold that we don't? Which obviously we can see by Antifa and the left wing and the right wing.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I brought up the Mississippi flag having the
It used to have the Confederate flag in it But they
And like
changed it.
literally last month,
They-
Josh was like, it changed.
They changed it in January. That's not last month.
Yep.
January, February, March. Oh, so on 2021. this is
5-ish or so months ago.
Still though, which feels
more
like
7,
which
but
which feels
still.
like 7 days ago because of COVID.
Because you haven't had a job.
Yeah, I don't know why you're throwing that in my face.
Yeah, because I've been working every day.
Oh, you're bitter about it, is what it is.
No, my time hasn't changed.
Ladies.
Hey, you're right.
I'm a pretty girl.
Potato.
Potato.
And this is the argument I'm having, bro. Potato. It's the same thing. We're
Same
all
shit.
fighting. We're all fighting for a better America.
We're all
so
fighting.
why don't we fight together
Yeah.
against the government and the corporations that are puppeteering the government over the American citizens? I'm just saying.
That's because 9/11 was 10 years
just
ago.
saying.
20 years
20.
ago.
Anniversary's coming up. 20 year. George Bush got something big planned.
We
He said himself.
we
Holy
need
size.
we need another terrorist attack on U.S. soil to unite
No, we don't.
the United States citizens.
Nope.
We
Nope.
need another goddamn war for us to.
We need another fucking economic recession
We
like
need-
2008. Yeah, we do. Hell
we're
yeah.
in an economic recession. You
Fucking,
dumbass.
we need another 2008.
Another one. DJ Khaled. Economic recessions. Another one.
We need another housing market clash. Shit's too expensive.
another one. It is too
The
expensive.
rent is too damn high. We need that
too
shit to
damn
crash.
high. You need to cut it.
We need to crash the
You
rent
guys
prices.
want to hear a funny joke?
I love
course.
funny jokes.
Yeah, you guys want to hear a funny joke? Here's a joke. Knock knock.
Who's
Who's
there?
Afghanistan.
Uh-oh.
Afghanistan, who?
Don't open the door.
We just landed in Virginia. Congratulations. Guess what's coming in a few years?
A nuke? No, they don't have nukes.
What?
Y'all were fucking around laughing about 9/11, right? Guess where those refugees are coming? Besides the other countries that they're going, they just landed in Virginia.
Oh,
Do they have tall
And
buildings in Virginia?
No, we have worse. The capital's very close.
Oh, fuck.
Guess what? Yeah, think about it.
Espionage
No, think.
shit.
Let's talk about it, boys. Let's talk about it. You guys are laughing. You
We're
guys are
getting
having a little
drafted.
hoot.
Let's go.
Yeah, you guys are having a little hoot and a
Eating your
half,
food
right?
and your baked beans.
Guess where a couple of those C-17s just landed? They landed in Virginia with a bunch of refugees from Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan
No, you
running
said with
away
your new
from the
slur.
Taliban. Yeah.
Afghanistan.
Running away from Afghanistan, right? Well, guess who was there? There were men there. There were teenage boys on that plane. Historically, we've seen where some of their values have landed, right?
I will be a pilot for Afghanistan.
And they-
I will define the
and
country
they-
for Afghanistan.
Pakistan.
And-
Oh, wow. Grape.
And grape!
Grape.
We will destroy India! All right. No, but seriously, guys, seriously, think about it.
Fuck.
All like men, women, and children have just landed back in Virginia on U.S. soil after leaving a state that just got back
Fucked.
overran by an Islamic extremist group. You're telling
After
me
20 years.
that none of the men, women, or children that came on that airplane
I was 6.
couldn't have been extremists that were like, oh, we're gonna play the pity party,
Insurgents.
jump on these planes, come to the United States, and guess what? Now they're gonna do all these things to make our lives a little better. Guess what? All they have to do is play their cards right for 10 years so that the shit dies down, right? They lay low, like the guys that did the Boston bombing. They laid low, right?
The marathon?
No, yeah, exactly. Nobody knew, right? Apparently nobody knew. And all of a sudden they came out of nowhere. They started bombing U.S. citizens again. Come on. We're not that naive, are we?
So
And I'm not racist. I know
But-
people from listen, I know people from Pakistan. They're amazing people. I know people from India. I know people from Kuwait. I know people from all different walks of life. And
Until
they're
you find
amazing
out they're
people.
sleeper agents.
Exactly. They're amazing people, and I'm never going to doubt them until that doubt is placed in my mind.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly. But you're telling me that we're not bringing literally like these planes can hold like 300 people in them with no chairs.
Yeah.
And we're sending over how many of them back to the United States and dropping them off right in the smack dab?
I'll look.
Literally like 50 miles from the U.S. Capitol.
COVID.
You think dude, stop playing with me.
That's a
I
super
see
spreader
it.
event.
It's not a conspiracy theory. This is actually happening. This is happening here on U.S. soil again.
So
It's
what,
happening again.
We're getting 2.5 million registered refugees from Afghanistan.
so what you're telling me is we need to send this episode to the FBI and the CIA.
Be like, yo, y'all are not paying attention to the facts.
Like, hey guys, you should probably look into this.
They're gonna be like, you guys are dumb. We know, but
Yeah,
we're
this
gonna
was all
take-
part of the
we're
plan.
gonna
Shut
take-
the fuck up.
No, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna be like, but we're gonna take 15 years and some major events to happen first, and be like, we were watching them. We were watching them. We knew it was coming, but we were watching them.
You heard it here
No.
first on the Two Dudes Drinking Beer Show, episode 123.
We heard it here
August
first
23rd, 2021.
that this will happen. History will repeat itself. Mark my words.
20 years after the fact.
I give you 15 years. 15 years of this, and I guarantee you we're going to start seeing an insurgence on that violence that we have shied so far away from since the last bombing, which, if I remember correctly, was the Boston bombing, because the last bombing that I can remember was the one on T-Mobile, and that wasn't a
On our soil?
on our soil, and that wasn't like an extremist group. That was a group of people that were like, I guess, fighting the government again. T-Mobile bombing in, I think, Tennessee.
That's so weird to say. The T-Mobile bombing.
Yeah, and so you see that, right? You'll see it if you Google it. And now, I say within the next 15 years, you guys are going to start seeing an insurgence. Or at the 15-year mark, that's when you guys are going to start seeing things start popping off again. Mark my words. They're going to lay low. They're going to lay low. They're going to recruit unless we do what we need to do and start taking care of business back where we were. I'm telling you, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. I feel it. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my soul, and I'm not a racist, but I know what will happen if we allow 2.8 million people from a refugee country just flood our nation.
I'm posting this because
Go
ahead.
At some point, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but at some point, some of these people are going to be influenced by their home country, as were the people in the past that were influenced by their home country. Those extremists weren't extremists when they were born. No, they were built that way. They were raised that way. They were molded that way. We have young women and children
this way.
You know what I'm saying? We have young women and children coming into here, and there's nothing stating that when they're getting in contact with their family back home, if they ever do get in contact with them back home, there's nothing stating that they won't influence the people that are finally here, that may have came here under the prejudice that we're going to make them a better life and we're going to protect them. There's nothing stating that they aren't going to revert back to that extremist ideology after being molded for 10 or 15 years by their family members who are still back in Afghanistan or Kabul or wherever.
Yeah,
That's my fear. That's my fear as a true patriot and as a true American.
Yeah,
That's my fear.
Can I go before you go into that?
Go ahead,
Because
go ahead.
that's a lot longer than this.
Good.
I have the last foreign attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. Granted, they pinned it on Al Qaeda. It was a shooting at a naval Air Force base in Pensacola, Florida, that happened on December 6th of last year.
Yes.
They say that was the last attack that happened.
And those were
You're gonna get a lot more of those.
Those were teenagers that were here on an education program as well.
Damn.
They were here doing education and military here on U.S. soil, and they were influenced by their home ideologies. These weren't grown-ass men. If you check the ages of the men that carried out these actions, they weren't grown older men.
Well, if the older men did it,
trained
there's
and they
other
were being
generals.
educated here. Yeah, they were being educated and they were being trained here on U.S. soil here at the Air Force Base in Pensacola, Florida.
Damn. The link I posted in the chat is basically a year-to-year breakdown of our interactions since the War on Terror in 2001 to current day, and I'm skipping everything in between, but it goes 2020 U.S. Taliban signs deal of peace to path. And then you scroll down to 2021, and it goes Biden decides to complete U.S. withdrawal by 9/11. And the thing after that is Afghan government collapses and Taliban takes control.
I mean, as soon as the support structure leaves, then
So as soon as America left, after years and years and years of progress, after 20 years of progress, it collapses in a fucking month.
I wouldn't really call it progress.
After all those years of trying
It happened in 2 weeks.
Setting up a
Yeah.
puppet
Happened in 2
government.
weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's not a month.
In
We haven't even ended this month. It's been 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, after 20 years, it took 2 weeks for it to get back to exactly where it was. And there's a huge thing elaborating that. August 15th, 2021, Afghan government collapses as the Taliban takes Kabul.
18 days ago.
And side note, do you think the UN is going to do anything?
No.
No, they don't have the power
No.
to.
The UN does nothing. The UN is a joke. The UN is a useless figurehead, such as other government heads.
It was also probably established by Reagan. Fucker.
No, before that.
I'm
Way
just
before
talking
that.
shit, but I'm smelling food. I'm sorry.
Now you're hungry.
Now I'm hungry. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, you don't smell that?
I do smell it.
Oh my god.
I don't smell anything.
I'm just.
You
not
don't smell
enticed.
that? Oh, it's
No, I don't smell it.
We don't have smell-o-vision
Oh.
yet.
Smell-o-vision.
Not for nothing. The
like
UN was
meatballs.
established in 1945.
Really?
It was first called the League of Nations.
Yeah, right after the World War II, right?
Well, it was.
Yep.
I think the League of Nations was like after World War One, but nobody thought it was a good idea, and nobody followed it.
It dissolved, and then they started.
Like,
a
let's
second
try this
one.
again.
Yeah.
United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945 after the Second World War by 51 countries committed to maintaining international peace and security. AKA, they all pretended like they're going to protect
Everyone
and
else.
hold the values of peace and security
And promote their
and
own agendas.
and do actually nothing besides maybe the certain places in which they actually housed refugees that were just trying to get away from the gunfire, where the United Nations actually had bases where they would allow a certain amount of people in and just let them hide there. That's all they've done. That's all they've done as far as peace and security, because I don't consider, dropping water and like feeding people, like I get that's fundamental, but like as far as like peace and security is actually concerned, no. It's been the other countries that were like, hey, guess what? We have a Navy. Guess what? We have an Air Force. Guess what? Fuck with us. We will blow you to smithereens. That's what actually did the safety and the security.
Like another Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
discourages
that's what
aggression.
That's what did the security. I'm sorry. That's what did the security.
Nobody shows up to a bar and drinks a ton wanting to fight security with the threat of being thrown out.
You need to level a city.
Yeah.
Ghostan says
Fucking
Korea,
level it.
Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Kabul. I see with
I
my
spy
little
with my
eye,
little eye a pattern.
a pattern forming of U.S. lies. He says of U.S. lies.
I mean, he's not wrong, man.
Hungry.
I'm fucking hungry. I'm smelling spaghetti and meatballs and shit, and I'm fucking
I'm not getting that, but I smell
hungry.
something.
It's beef and it's like a pasta sauce for sure.
I'm not getting that, but I smell
All right,
something.
guys. Well, this is Plant Daddy Streams. I'm going to be signing off for tonight. You guys do what you guys got to do for the rest of the chat. Close us out. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys soon.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks as always for
Thank
joining
you
us.
as always.
All right.
Well, I think that's as good a place as ever.
Yeah, it is.
We will have a show on Wednesday. I know
Do you
that's
have a show on Wednesday?
I know that's,
am back Wednesday.
not a contested thing, but it's like our schedule's been up in the air.
It's
ever
up in the
since-
air, but we do have a
ever
Monday
since
and
this
Wednesday
asshole got
show.
a job again.
Sorry, we do have a show this
We'll be
Monday.
here Wednesday.
This Monday, and we'll be back Wednesday. That's
But
it.
in the future, we can't tell for sure.
We don't know yet.
So we're
Mondays are pretty solid. Though.
week by week. We're figuring it out. He is working.
I am.
He's got a job now.
But not Wednesday. We didn't book a show on Wednesday.
Yeah. So Wednesday we'll be here, same time, same place. If you want to watch us again. Yeah. I mean, hi, I'm Josh.
I'm Alec. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Goodbye.